discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Your Jamaican brother all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out for the citizens on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio. You're listening to the Pan-African Bliss Show. With your host, none other than Major Robinson.
Love me now, my baby, before I leave for someone else who's gonna love me better, can touch me better, someone to call my bed. But don't let me down, my baby. Give me one more day. Baby, don't have tomorrow.
Baby girl.
Baby, love you today.
We've been dating, my baby, for too long. You know my feelings for you, they're like a song. Ni deep sana, ni katuna sing along. Hata tukikosana, you know I never do you wrong. I know sometimes me na we si ukombanishana. Najua some of our friends utugonganishana. Plus nimeku neglect kiasi tu. Ile design tumezoea na do for granted boo. I just wanna say living isn't a solution. We're back in a mini kuonyesha evolution. From loving you more, hugging you more, making you more, making you know, baby, you're my number one.
Before I leave for someone else who's gonna love me better, can touch me better, someone to call my bed. But don't let me down, my baby. Give me one more day. Baby, we don't have tomorrow. Baby, love me today.
Kasingekuwa na kupenda
kwenye ningeenda
mtoto amejikenda tunapendana mwenda kawa ni
good afternoon family
kwa
Grand Rising
umepunguza viti
you guys are doing amazing
mwisho na
happy Tuesday
uletea macho najua
15 minutes past the top of the hour
love umekuwa kwa
Karibu sana to the Black Hot Fire Network.
takumari
It's the middle of the 21st century.
I'm sorry nilikuhata kibari na shikanga nare ukileta swara ngware umebamba akishore usinichore
Now, my baby, before I leave for someone else who's gonna love me better, can touch me better, someone to call my bed. But don't let me down, my baby. Give me one more day. Baby, we don't have tomorrow. Baby, love you today. My baby, do you love me? Do you love me now?
nakupenda design ya Romeo na Juliet.
Do you love
Karibuni sana family, hope you guys are doing amazing. Good afternoon, Grand Rising once again to everyone live listening to me via the radio station on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute. To those who get to listen to this on Spreaker, Spotify, thank you to the amazing new followers and subscribers as well. We see you, we appreciate you. And to those who have been sending their amazing donations on our Cash App and of course right here on the Super Chat. But we've been saying don't sign in on the Super Chat. Ensure you go to the Black Hot Fire Network application, download, which you can find on the Google Play Store. And of course, we have an active donation site, rather. You can send it through the Cash App, that is the $ Mr. Black Hot Fire. Karibuni sana. This is the Pan-African Bliss Show. Hope you guys are doing amazing. I feel excited today. I don't know why. I feel like I'm even I'm trying to catch up breath. I don't know, I'm super I feel like super just joyful, but I hope you're also doing amazing, having a wonderful easy Tuesday. But of course, on today's conversation we shall be talking about Africans, when will you ever fight back? And generally we shall be discussing about the effects taking, of course right here in the African continent. We're going to talk about what is happening, a little bit of history, which I shall be coming back with, and this is actually what is making me try to understand from all this pain, of children, women, fathers that have gone through in histories. Until today, we see the same thing again happening. I've been saying this. It is crazy to see that the same thing is happening after a few years of just a lot, huge numbers of our people going through genocide, being beaten, facing racism, being linked, or forcefully accused of stealing, just different things, you know. So we'll be talking about that as we check a little bit onto our history. We'll be discussing about what is happening in Tanzania. We'll be talking about what is happening in Ghana, Uganda, Mali, and of course South Africa, where I do have a video because we do have parents in South Africa who are now seeking safety because of, you know, literally lack of just security in the country, where we do have racism, of course, taking part. We do have people not being able to defend themselves, and of course a whole lot happening. So we'll be discussing about that as our top discussion. But for now, back to the music. We'll be coming back as we get started.
My baby, do you love me or do you love me not? Nakupenda jana, kesho nakupenda kila siku. Do you love me? Do you love me not? Nakupenda kuachana haina maana.
Love me now, my baby, before I leave for someone else who's gonna love me better, touch me better, someone to call my bed. Don't let me down, my baby. Give me one more day. Baby, we don't have tomorrow. Baby, love me today.
That is Fenagito featuring Calvo Mistari, and the name of the jam is Love Me, and of course featuring Bobby Mapesa, one of my favorite bangers at TBT. Very not much known, but I really love it. It's the lyrics, it's the message on this particular jam. But I hope you're having an easy Tuesday. Karibu sana, Mr. Blackout Fire. How you doing over there? Are you having some ice cream cones? Are you having some bread, corn bread? Having.
No ice cream cones, Joe. But good morning to you, Asante Sana. I am in Arkansas. I don't think I've been in Arkansas in at least 5 years. Wow, this is I'm in Arkansas. This Jason's. This is Jason's family from. I'm in your town, Jason. Yeah, remember Jason's family he lives in California now, but his family originated over here in Arkansas.
I really
Um,
don't keep tabs. I don't keep tabs because you guys just like Africa, you have too many names of different cities and all that. I can only keep tabs of the
Arkansas is not a Arkansas is a
Chase.
state, Joe. It's not a city. Arkansas is a
Mm,
state, not a city. So it's a whole state, so not a city.
Kate, forgive me. I can't even make a difference of the Asian. So now you want me to make a difference of the cities and whatever in America. I don't know. It's
Ar-
crazy. But anyway,
Arkansas, Arkansas, Arkansas is a state that really doesn't have a big city. It's one the
mm,
biggest city is the capital, which is Little Rock, but it's not a big city. It's not considered a big city. So Arkansas it's just like Mississippi. Mississippi is another state that doesn't have a big city. Their biggest city is Jackson, which is not a big city. So this is a state that does not have a big city in it. It's a whole state that doesn't. It's a pretty state. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have. It's considered like an agriculture state, like Mississippi, like farming and it's a poor farming state, right? It's a poor state. You know,
okay.
it's one of the states that the Rockefellers controlled with an iron fist back in the day. With Bill Clinton and his
Oh,
with his great granddaddy, it
I
was the
think this
Rockefeller
weekend
who was governor.
this weekend I read an article which was about a 19-year-old girl who was found dead on a certain nearby river there in Arkansas,
In,
and
Ar- in Arkansas, okay.
yeah, it happens to be a matter of serial killing and all that. So,
Oh
surely
shit.
Jason around there,
You got a
or
lot. You got a lot of
just
hillbillies up. You got a lot of hillbillies in Arkansas, so I wouldn't doubt it. You got a lot of you got a lot of got the Ozark Mountains in northern Arkansas, so a lot of what we call country folk or village folk. A lot of backward people live in Arkansas. So.
okay, makes sense. But anyway, karibuni sana. Shout out to Byron Scott, shout out to Sister Sinovia. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing amazing. It's been a minute. And of course, to everyone who's silently listening on these other platforms, Rumble, BitChute, and of course on the radio station. And to those who shall be on Spreaker, and Spotify. Karibuni sana to the Black Fire Network. My name is Joby. We have Mr. Black Fire in the building. But like I said, we'll be starting with that a little bit of history right here, a little bit of knowledge. I love the fact that nowadays I am educating. I love when I hear kids say Joby is teaching me something. Like, yeah, come on, that's good. Because most of the times it's always him
Can't
shocking
I
us with
can't
information.
can't
So
can't know it. I can't know everything, Joby.
exactly. So yeah, welcome. But anyway, I did jump into this article which was talking about we're not talk about white people being really psychopaths and how we've checked different articles so far of how they did come up with different myths. I want to say myths, stereotypes, conspiracy theories, and names, pinning them on black people. When you talk about freedom, I think we did discuss on that. I can't remember the name, but black people were given a name for trying to break free, seeking freedom and and different things. I think we've been sharing different articles. Now we have this one coming from particularly history about children and how they were labeled. And they're saying in 1960s and 1970s, black children were labeled
It
as
was called
retarded.
Gryptomania, Joby. He said you were
Mhm,
crazy. You're crazy
mhm,
if you wanted to be free.
exactly. They different type of names. It's just super crazy. Now we have here in 1960s and 70s where they labeled black children as retarded to push them
Yes.
into underfunded programs. And they're
Yeah,
saying
to
in
make
cities.
to get them poorly educated because the white people they don't want to compete, Joe, because they're mediocre. They've stolen the world. They don't want to compete, so they want to make your kids stupid. They want to restrict education. They don't want to make it open for everybody. They want to restrict it. So they want to
Mhm,
so they want to put especially the black boys in what they call special education, retard
yeah.
classes for the retarded. Go ahead.
It's crazy. They're saying in cities like New York and Chicago, large numbers of black children were deliberately misdiagnosed as mentally retarded,
Told you.
so public schools could access extra funding, and these children were segregated into special education programs where they were received no real, they didn't receive any real education,
No education at all, Joe.
limiting their futures, and some families sued once the scheme was exposed. But many lives were already permanently altered.
Were
Exactly because,
destroyed.
yeah, what are you going to sue? Because you can't literally bring back the mentality of this child. It's already super, super gone. They have been.
Like, well, he's grown now. He's a grown moron.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn. Yeah, exactly. So this is just crazy. Looking at, another reason to just.
Everything they do, Joe, is always about evil. Always.
Mhm. Another reason to keep you woke and understand why your history is so important to when it comes, especially surrounding yourself or going around these kind of creatures. I'm gonna call them creatures because they ain't humans, being honest, they ain't
No,
humans.
nothing they do is human. Everything
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't be human. Everything you do is anti-humanity, Joey. So,
It's super insane and super sad, but a little bit of knowledge I wanted to share on that. Before we get into the real matters affecting Africa, we have Tanzania on board again. We did discuss yesterday where during the weekend they did receive funds from the World Bank. That is a total of $3 million to tackle disasters that may be coming, including climate change disasters and all
I
that.
will let me let me interject. I will give Cameron's credit, and he
Mhm,
said what he said was correct about Tanzania. Kenya shouldn't care. Don't care what you think. You people still want to take the abuse. The Africans in Kenya say no more abuse. We're not going to take no more abuse and being lied to.
mhm,
So all Africans are peaceful. It is that the Africans are finally in Kenya said enough is enough. Most Africans take forever. Only Africans can live in poverty and slums and don't do nothing about it, think it's normal. We just stay peaceful and stay poor. The Kenyans are the ones fighting for you, goofy Tanzanians. You need to
mhm,
understand, in the rest of Africa. That's why Africans are now giving Kenyans their respect and not you. No one's chasing after Tanzania. They're looking at
mhm.
Kenya, calling them the giants of Africa, not you.
But yes, in Tanzania, just like Uganda, on Friday we did go deep. I think on Friday or Thursday or one of the days last week, we went deep on checking on the importation, exportation of mineral resources in Uganda. We saw how much they make, and of course, which never goes to making the country better, but And of course, no traces of these funds as well. It's crazy how
You know
the oil.
who the resources go to. Okay,
Mhm,
let's let's give one example that we know that just current. Okay, so
mhm,
in Burkina Faso, these mining companies are only paying Burkina Faso $1 billion for a whole year, right? For
mhm,
mining in their country, right?
mhm,
So white people who own the company get 99%. So when even to race said no, we're going to nationalize all our mining sectors. Burkina
mhm.
Faso make $18 billion in a week. So you only got 1 billion for a whole year. Now you take it back and you're making $18 billion a week. So
Mhm.
tell me, that's why you're poor. Because why would I allow Joby to come in my backyard, dig my shit up, pay me $10, and she makes fucking $1,000? Who does that? What sense does that make with African puppets? Got people coming in their country, digging up all their real wealth. They get 10%, and the white man gets 90, and all the people run around butt naked, poor, and got secondhand clothing. Are you insane? This is what's been going on the last almost 200 years.
Exactly. I was looking at a video which is explaining how, just like the rest of the colonial countries, how France has been able to control various countries in Africa. That is, of course, number one, through their fake currency, which
Of course.
controls majority of our real mineral resources, which are worth a lot of money. And through all this fake currency, we also get loans through the World Bank,
Somebody,
the
somebody
Bank.
make somebody making something inside the microwave or something.
Yeah. Mind your business. Mind your focus on the show, kindly.
Okay,
Each and mind
I kept hearing that buzzing noise. Okay, I'm trying to. Go ahead.
you have to put your mind on one thing. This is
Uh,
why Ruto
uh,
is trusted and the rest of the president. You're focusing on this and put your mind on one thing. But anyway, I was watching a video which was explaining literally how these colonial countries have control of our resources through their, of course, the fake banks, which we have, the banks, number one, the fake currency, which control our mineral resources, which are worth a lot. And we end up paying a lot of interest, like we've seen. We end up paying a lot of interest back to the same countries that are actually stealing lots worth of
of course,
trillion mineral resources. So it's a question. The question is,
that's the scam. That's
what do
the
we owe?
scam, Joby. It's called the
What
Britain.
do we
It's
owe to
called the
pay?
Britain with Accord. That's the scam, Joby.
Because the currency you've given us, number one, it's not only weak to actually back up the mineral resources you're taking from my country, it is a fake
Hmm.
scheme to keep me in control for your own benefit. Benefit, not my
Yeah,
benefit, your benefit. And this is not
yeah,
just, you're not benefiting from one country. This is how selfish you are. You're benefiting from like 12, 10 countries, and you still want more. You still want more.
yeah,
You have, oh,
yeah.
yeah. The time is coming to the end. Shout out to Ibrahim Traore. But like I said, just like
Joby
I
still
said,
think about the mind of a European, the
the
savages
problem,
and the
like I
parasites.
said, like I
Go ahead.
said last week, the problem we have with these leaders, just like what you can see right now on the screen, Tanzania has joined the list of African countries looking to take control of their gold resources, which sounds like a lie to me because number one, you've already gotten into the scheme of taking loans, and we know number one, once you step your foot in
Exactly.
this they come in now with telling you with the deals of, hey, we're gonna be giving you money, you're gonna allow us to find regions where we can,
Exactly.
they're gonna just fool
Extract your
you.
resource. Exactly, Joby.
Mhm. They're gonna fool you, and the problem we have with these
They're
African
not
leaders.
fooling you. The Africans are morons. They do it in your face. They're not fooling. These people, these morons who run these puppets know what's going on, Joby. They're not getting fooled. The people might not know because they're uneducated, but these morons that they put in power know what's going on. They know they're being cheated, Joby. They know that.
That's why you're being fooled because you know what is happening. Because but you can't just say no. You're a fool. What do you wanna? Why do you wanna? No, kid. How do you call that? You are a fool if I can just convince you to give me what is yours, and
You're corrupt. You're not a fool, Joe, but you're corrupt because you are a listen. Most like you're not just for you're an idiot. So you're corrupt because you just worry about me. They always make sure they put the most despotic, psychopathic leader in there. That's why Africa has leaders for 30 and 40 years, all this crazy shit, right? They
Yeah.
don't send them up because these people are morons. They don't know how to build. They don't know how to actually run no country or run anything while they're there. So they get their kids and their family, their nepotism, all their people run the government. So they're giving 10% of the country's wealth. So that makes them rich. But the country stays impoverished, but all the rest of the money is kicked up to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the country's wealth always goes back there. Just like Ghana did the simple thing, say, you know what? We're going to take over our own gold. Fine. You mean finally? You take it. So now Ghana's currency, as Joby told you last year, was in the garbage, was a garbage currency. Now it's become the number one currency on the planet because they're taking back what's theirs. The whole thing, Africans, these puppets don't want to take back what's yours. People have been getting rich off of your back. And sadly enough, most people not educated like Joby. The African has been kept ignorant, stupid, doesn't even know what it's worth. Like you said, you go get some moonshine. You give me an ounce of gold that's worth goddamn $4,000. I give you $2. Here's your
Yeah.
$2, dummy.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the cost of real gold. Are you gonna give me that money? Or are you just bluffing? That is also something with Africans, They're gonna tell you, are you gonna give me the money or are you just bluffing? Because there's no way you feeding me information and you're not giving me the money. So give me the money as you talk. That's the mentality of majority of our people. But just like I was saying, last week I was heavy on saying African leaders have failed heavily. Of course, like you're saying, they understand what they're doing. And like I was saying yesterday as well, they're just doing their jobs. These are people actually set up in companies doing their jobs. We've understood this so
Exactly.
far. These countries are not countries. These are companies where people actually
Yep.
come,
Exactly.
profits and run away, give you loans on how to manage the company, but they're walking away with what is really beneficial for them as you stay poor, very poor. For them, their company on the other end is benefiting, it's growing, but your company here, which they set up, it's just say yes, don't say no. If you say no, it's gonna be like an Iran type of story, say yes, obey to the
Yeah, we're
rules,
gonna we're gonna
obey to the
well
rules.
well Iran's got a little more military. Usually in Africa we're gonna do a coup against your ass. We're just gonna get
So
rid of you. We're gonna Patrice Lumumba your ass and we're gonna Kwame Nkrumah your ass.
So shout out to Ibrahim Traore, just like we've seen him doing majority of the things secretly. What these leaders have failed to do
Yeah,
is
secretly,
do
quiet. Right.
things secretly. In Uganda last week, like I was saying, I did a whole show when we were checking on how Museveni or Uganda did discover a 12 trillion worth gold of literally gold that is in some parts of Uganda. And then
That's what he
there's
said. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's what that moron is saying. Everybody's saying even you got it, that's a lot. But it's still probably a lot of gold still. But I don't know if it's as much as they say it is. But I'm sure there's gold there.
yeah.
But you won't
What
you
else?
won't benefit Ugandans until you get rid of your old man. That's why they're scared because their spies are in Africa telling these leaders your people are about to overthrow you. And this is what we're gonna need to do to tap it down. That's why I think Museveni gave that bizarre speech a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry for anything I've done. Because his spies, the European spies in Africa, have already told him, you're the powder keg. These Africans are about to erupt and they're gonna unalive all you puppets. So we're gonna try to, tamp it down to mess up the Africans' mind because they're still not completely fully awake. Because that's what's coming. You're about to get it. It's going to be a mass unaliving in Africa. I told you. This is coming. And so they're being told. We don't know if we can keep tampering this down. If people are starting to wake up, the lies are not working, the propaganda is not working anymore. And so I told you, you got spies running. Africa's the richest country and the richest continent on the planet. There's so many spies running through Africa. Are you insane? Listening, hearing the Africans talk. And then they go back and report it. So they told Museveni's other puppets, hey, you on a powder keg, and we don't know if we can save it. We're trying to tamp it down, but you see, Kenya's already out of control now. That's going to be the rest of Africa. But it ain't going to be as nice and friendly because you had hundreds of years of exploitation you've done to African people on behalf of the wicked European. Hundreds of years of exploitation. You got Africans living in unhumane conditions, cabanas, and all kind of crazy slums. That's inhumane because you've been working with psychopaths to keep your people impoverished. So you gotta get this work. That's what Iran is doing. You gotta get this work. The work has gotta get done. No more. Let's go to Jesus and let's try to help. No, you gotta get this work. You've gone too far. You puppets have gone too far. You don't feel no shame when you drive past a conveyor and see your people living like that. You got to get this work. You feel no shame. You see your people living like goddamn animals. No running water, no damn washroom facilities. You got to get this work. You have no shame. And you're only lucky because the African is loving and that's you would never see this kind of poverty except in nowhere on the planet. Only in Africa because the people, nature is loving and kind. That's it. Because you puppets would have been got this work anywhere else. Only because the Africans loving and kind, you have been allowed to do this wicked ass shit for the last 60, 70 years. But your time is coming. Your time is coming. And you're going to be dragged to the... You think Gaddafi got dragged to the streets and they put that pole up his ass? Yours is going to be worse. Yours is going to be worse. Go ahead, Joby.
Right. I had to allow you to do whatever you really like. But anyway, so they're saying that the decision places the East African country among the rising numbers of African nations seeking to extract more value from their natural resources. Of course, we've seen this influence rising. We've seen a country like Gambia, we've seen Gabon, we've seen Botswana, Togo, if I'm not wrong. Several countries actually following the Alliance Sahel states way of taking control of their own mineral resources, but they can't still do this. I believe these countries will not be able to fully do it because they still feel deep in the system. You are a puppet, number one. You are a puppet leader. You know, you're not supposed to be doing right by the people. So this is just for the mainstream media to see that there's something that is working. We're trying to do it correctly. And just like what Keith is trying to explain, they're being told, they're being warned. So this could be also another way of trying to keep Africans confused or think that they are in the progress of fully taking control of their resources, because I don't really believe it personally. On this other end, we also have Ghana as well, which as much as they have taken control of their gold reserves or resources, they're also saying they have lost lots of funds. That is a total of $11 billion that is to gold, and that is gold smuggling. Last year, towards the end of the year, I remember we were reporting how people were being actually displaced from their lands, water was being, rivers were being destroyed because of all this illegal gold smuggling. The same Ghana is losing billions of dollars in revenue annually to smuggling from its blooming artisanal gold mining sector, with much of the gold flowing to the United Arab Emirates. See, it's not even
And
going.
it's United Arab Emirates. Isn't that funny? To the UAE again, ain't fun? Isn't it funny? Emirates again don't have no gold. So they've been stealing. So what Ghana did is said no more gold leaving the country. Should have been did this 60 fucking years ago. So now Ghana's now saying, you know, we catch you, we're going to arrest you, finally. So now that's why the Ghana CD is now gaining equivalency with the dollar. Their currency is now coming back alive because they now say, no, the gold's going to belong to us, for us, not in no damn Dubai. Why is my gold showing up in Dubai that don't have any gold mine? Same way they were showing up in Europe, around any gold mine. It's the depth of Africa you got to stop. You got to stop it. You can't be all bootlicking cowards. You got to stop. And so like even Toure said, we're going to build a gold market in Burkina Faso. No gold leaves Africa. You bring it here We'll process your gold. So it's going to be a processing center in Bikini Faso. You don't take it to Dubai. So Africa, again, since the gold comes from Africa, you should have the wealth of your gold. Not nobody in Dubai who hates you. You get it? So they'll come to your countries and be cleaners. They'll come to your countries and need jobs. You got the wealth, not them. They stole your wealth. Now you got your people running over there to get jobs and be slaves and shit. No, you turn it around. You're gonna come and be a slave here. You're gonna work for me. The gold is mine, and I'll fight you for my gold. We gotta go to war. We go to war. No more stealing of my shit.
Period. But they're saying, according to a report given by a non-profit Swede, the report found a strategizing 229 metric ton trade gap equivalent to $11.4 billion between Ghana's gold exports and corresponding imports over just 5 years, with most of the smuggling gold ending up in Dubai. So it's crazy. It is super, super insane to see, you know, we should have done this long time ago, just like what you're saying. This is something that should have been done long time ago, because we also have Zambia. Countries are now claiming. Personally, I never buy none of these things they put out on the mainstream media, being honest, until I really see serious action.
You see it on the ground, exactly.
Yeah, until I see a white man is trying to stop you from really what you're trying to do because it's supposed to be beneficial to you. I don't really buy none of this. I really don't. So many countries now popping up just saying, oh, we're taking control of our mineral. Why didn't you do this long time ago until now? You've seen what Burkina Faso is doing and showing up.
They're scared, Joe. I told you, the spies have already told them your people are getting restless. They see Bikini Faso's doing. We haven't been able to unalive this damn Ibram Traore. You think these other leaders, these puppet leaders want him dead, Joby. They want him gone. He's a danger to them too. That's why they conspire with the white man to try to take him out. He's destroying the whole psychotic rule. So through the breakdown, everything's been told. That's why Nigeria said we got to cut off Twitter and TikTok because they got too many, and you're not allowed to speak anything good about Ibram Traore. I thought Nigeria was a democracy. How you gonna stop me speaking about somebody? Because the spies already told them. You're in the mix of being overthrown. There's too much good stuff this dude is doing in 2 years that none of you have done in 60. You're not going to survive it. So they got to pretend, Joe, but like you said, a lot of stuff is pretend talk, like you said, because it's coming from the mainstream media. Oh, we're going to take back our resources. Oh, we're going because they got to appease, sadly enough, the ignorant African who's starting to wake up and say, how the hell is Burkina Faso, this poor country, building all this shit in 2.5 years? And like Kiba Torre said, there's no poor African country. There's no such thing as a poor African. See, this is another little dirt. There's no such thing as a poor Kenya, poor Uganda, poor Tanzania, poor Ghana, poor Nigeria. There's no such thing. What it is you've been exploited by the Europeans and been made poor. But there's no such thing as a poor country in Africa at all. Mm-hmm. So him taking down back the wealth of Burkina Faso, he said, how's he funding all this shit? Because Burkina Faso's not poor, moron. They were made poor by white people. They're not poor. Kenya's not a poor country. Go ahead,
the most amazing part, just like you were saying about Iran yesterday, the most amazing part right now about the Alliance Sahel state is that they control their own information. There is no mainstream media coming to tell
exactly. That's why they don't talk about them, Joe. That's why they don't say nothing in their media about them. That's why you don't hear no news about Burkina Faso, unless they talk about some fake terrorism that they create. They don't tell you that Burkina Faso made their own planes, Burkina Faso making their own phones, Burkina Faso making their own cars. You hear none of that, Joey.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But we also have Zambia also on the table, which is also seeking to Zimbabwe, sorry, not Zambia, but Zimbabwe. It's actually the Africa's largest producer of lithium. And the government has announced plans to ban the export of raw lithium. That is by the beginning of by the beginning of 2027. So you can see they even late about it. 2027, 2 years, you're giving a whole period grace of people stealing, and then you should have done that long time ago. I don't know why
because because
now.
because the agenda's taking long, Joe, because they want to see if they're gonna kill Ibram Toure within those 2 years because they're scared, Joe.
And then something else we should not even be buying from this man is he's also given land back to the white people in Zimbabwe.
Of
So
course, of course.
really,
How you giving land back to they store? Exactly, Joey.
so
Exactly.
like forget out of my face trying to act like now I'm a Pan-Africanist. I don't buy none of this news now. You see them saying, "Oh, Ghana, Nigeria, they have become." I don't buy none of that until I see serious actions
only,
being
the
put on.
only one, the
It's not.
only one who's serious is the guy in Botswana. Like
Mhm.
he said, the guy but the new president of Botswana now's got his military gear on. He don't
Mhm.
got the suit and tie, Joey. The leader
Yeah,
in
I saw that.
Botswana, Joe, he got his military stuff on like even
I
Toure,
saw,
right?
I saw the video. It went viral. People are like, "Wow, Botswana president is not joking around. He's really
Yeah, because
completely
he telling the truth. He said it makes no sense, and that we've had no progress. Even Torre gets up a day and says it, and it gets done. It's not taking 10 years, 30 years, and he told the truth. So even Torre done more in 2.5 years than all African leaders combined have done in 65. And he's right. He's right. You can't make this up. It's crazy. How am I
actually
doing all this stuff, Joby, in 2 years?
thinking about it. These puppets should be having uniforms. Their suits make them so comfortable. They go advancing every time when the balloon stomach is growing. But you see, when you have a military uniform, you keep fit because you need to be working out every single time. You have to keep fit because anytime you need to be on the radar. You never know what's happening around you. So there's no time to be attacking your balloon
But
stomach. You're
the
like,
puppets are not concerned about no, they're not concerned about that. And so also, just like, and also, like I said, Nigeria government is scared as hell because, like I said, the spies already heard that they're ready to be. People in the street are ready to overthrow Nigeria. They don't care about the tribal shit. They want. The Guinea Faso is too close to Nigeria's border, so
yeah.
they are here. So they're telling them. The white people tell them you're about to be overthrown. You're going to do something. Your people, your inside your military, your own young your military officers are trying to think about how they're gonna do a coup against your asses. And we're gonna try to tamp it down and stop it. And this is happening all throughout Africa. So I'm telling you, that's why I'm a 77. They never came about. I'm sorry for being a bad leader. Anything I ever done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's a rage of youth in Africa. African people have been exploited for too long, and the youth are gonna. There's an underlying rage, and Kenya's like the match, is the spark, and it's gonna burn throughout Africa because you're the same people. Okay, no matter what groupie tribe you come from, you're the same people. So that match is getting ready to burn. Because you've exploited this continent for all these years, stolen everybody's wealth. Like I said, it's only because the Africans, and shout out to even Torre told that truth. It's only because the African is kind of loving that this has been allowed that. That's right. He's a student of history. I've been saying that. Only African can live in this kind of. Have you seen videos of this cabana? People living in that? I'd rather die. There's no way you can have me live up in there. There's no way I can. What?
It's really
Man,
bad.
listen, we doing a revolution today.
It's really It's really, really bad. But as we talk about still mineral resources, we've heard, of course, Mali being part of the Alliance Sahel states that which did take control of their mineral resources from different companies. But we've had these
Of
companies
course,
trying to fight back. Of course, these are French companies
they
trying to fight
begging.
back to extend their stay there and all that after stealing. You need to pay what you owe us. But here's what is happening.
Man, you get out. Exactly. There's no compromise. There's no more compromising. This is my country,
Mm,
from the richest empire that ever was at one time, which is Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Chad, parts of Mauritania, Northern Africa. That was great empire, Songhai or Mali or ancient Ghana. That's the empire. So I'm just rebuilding it. The idea you come in and mine all my shit, leave my people impoverished, and then tell us we had no civilization. We had schools where you people couldn't even read or write. This is the craziness Africans have been dealing with.
Barrick
Go
Mining
ahead,
is
Joe.
holding Gunkoto Gold Mining Complex under provisional administration for 6 months. The move hands control of Canada's biggest operation to state-appointed management and is seen as a major escalation in an ongoing dispute between the company and Mali's military rulers. Barrick Gold
There's no escalation. You get the fuck out. You pay or you get out. It's my land, my mines, not yours. You pay or you go. The problem that Europeans haven't been paying. That's why Africa's been kept impoverished and in the dark. Go ahead. There's no
administration
There's no
before
disagreement.
unpaid taxes and unfair contracts with past governments.
Of course not.
The Canadian company says it will
That's why the puppets were there, to make sure all the money goes to them.
deterring future mining investment in the country. Mali is one of Africa's leading gold producers, but has struggled for years with high levels of poverty and hunger. But
Yeah, imagine that. Poverty and hunger. All Mali had to do was learn to build their own. See, that's why I want you educated. All you had to do was build your own mining sector and educate your kids. In 10 years, you'd have your own mining. You won't have to go to anybody white, and you'll be buying your own gold. That's what Burkina Faso learned and started doing. Use your gold. Why am I using white people? Well, white people came in, put their puppet leaders in, give them 10%, while they steal the country's gold forever. Since white people are psychopaths, they don't give nothing back to the place they're stealing from. So Mali's now one of the richest countries that ever existed in the world now, kept in poverty and ignorance. You get how it works? Go ahead, Joe.
It placed foreign mining companies under growing pressure as it seeks to shore up revenue.
Yeah, so shout out to Mali, of course, for standing 10 toes on what they really want. That's what you really need. You need to stand 10 toes on your decision. You're taking control, and there's no backing, no deals like what Israel is trying to do. We don't need no peace talks. We don't need, no. You've had enough time of negotiation.
Exactly.
You've had enough time of come say what you need to say. But
Joby, why we got to negotiate? Why weren't you doing fair deals from the beginning, Joby?
It's a
Why would you ever fair? Why would you ever fair with me from the beginning, Joby?
Understand, this is a collaboration. Collaboration takes time to profit from. So please hold on the term collaboration, Mister. Please hold on. That's the reason why
you've been. When we were under your colleagues, you didn't have to make no deals. You stole all of it. You had control of all of it. Okay, supposedly when we got free 60 years ago, right? Because when we was under your colony, they stole all of it, Joby. They didn't have to. It was theirs. They stole it all, right? Mm-hmm. So now that I got independence, why wouldn't you cut me a fair deal, Joe? If you tell us you want to be fair with me, well, it's okay. It's your mind. You'll get 65%. I'll take 40 because it's your mind. So you can close your people, give them good education, give them houses. Why wouldn't you do that, Joe?
It's called collaboration.
Because you're a psychopath. Collaborating. How you collaborating? You stealing all my shit? I don't got nothing. What collaboration is that?
We can have a talk, brother. We can have a talk. We can have a sit down. Let's talk. Good.
That's what I'm asking you. Why didn't you do that 60 years ago?
It's collaboration. It's so crazy because that's the bullshit, the terms the longest time, and we've been buying that. It's collaboration. Where are the profits though? Okay,
exactly. How's it collaborating? You get all the profit, and you're in my line. I decided to go in Joby's backyard. She got a house. I know so. Joby's got diamonds, gold, emeralds all in the backyard. I said, you know what, Joby? I'm gonna cut you a deal. This collaboration. I'm gonna dig up your gold and your diamonds and shit. I'm gonna give you $5, but Keith is worth $1,000. I know. I get the $995, and you get $5.
In my land,
That's exactly what they do. Exactly. That's exactly what they've been doing. Exactly.
In my land, like Jason says, we're gonna go Mad Max on this bitch. We're gonna go Mad Max. Don't try that in my land.
But that's what they've been doing. That's what Africans do.
Understanding everything, it goes back to the question we've always been asking people every time. What is worth really dying for? Like you're not telling me you're gonna stand there, these people grabbing, taking your shit, vandalizing. You're not gonna fight back. You're not gonna try fight back, even die at least fighting back. I'll die fighting back. I'm not gonna die standing there. For what I've really
That
worked
would
so hard for? Oh no. I'll die
that
fighting back.
that's the question. What will you die for? So Iran is finally saying, we don't want your money. We'll die for our thing. We're gonna die for what's ours. But exactly, the African gotta stop being a coward. Like even Torre said, you gotta stop it. What will you die for? You mean you gonna come, Joby, in my house and steal all my shit, make my kids poor, and I'm not willing to die for what's mine?
No, for real. We're gonna go Mad Max. I'm gonna have that sword, that show, the ready one, electrical one, ready to serve. We're gonna do some beheadings on some people. Go Mad Max. But anyway, as we talk about Mad Max, South Africa is a real Mad Max. I want to share this conversation right here. Of course, the racism, we've been seeing so many video of how racism actually, I didn't know the racism was really this deep in South Africa until the video.
What? Joby, come on. Come on, Joby.
Until the videos I shared last week, I think they really shocked me so much to see how a black person is standing there being threatened. I'm going to take a gun, come shoot you, and you're just standing there. I don't understand that.
Remember they were doing their work. They were trying to fix the road. Remember they were trying to fix the road.
I'll tell you something, kid. I think also one of the benefits of growing up in a Kibera or around a slum, you know how to fight.
Yeah.
You're not a moron.
Okay.
It comes to war. You know how to fight. You know how to fight
All
back.
right.
You
All right.
don't allow anyone disrespect you. You don't allow anyone to talk shit to you. That's what
Okay.
growing up in a Kibera, because growing up in these other different regions, you'll be acting like Tanzanians. We are peaceful.
South Africa got slums, Joby. They got slums. Slums in South Africa worse than Canada shit in South Africa.
Well, I think these ones actually they are more into Amapiano than they are not really that much affected.
No, Joby, they're Africans. They're kind and loving by nature, Joby.
I get it, but personally, and if you can even maybe you can hear it from, if we're gonna be having this conversation, I'll be asking people and you'll hear. There's something about growing up near a slum, because for me that's what.
All right, Joby. Joby. When we send you to South Africa, okay, so we're gonna be. I'm probably there with you, and you had to check a white person, Joby. The South African gonna be beside you. What are you doing? What are you talking? Right? What are you doing? You don't do that to them.
Well,
so what are you gonna do, Joby?
At that point, again, as I said, this is why you get to study the area, understand where you really are, because especially being in a new country, you can't go the crazy the way you go in your country.
Joby, you was in Tanzania just saying this thing. Joby, it's not new. It's Africa. Don't get rid of the fake country now.
Listen, I get what you're saying. In Tanzania, like I said, I was also still conscious of. I didn't go like I wanna attack this person. I went in a way of you're gonna need to show respect.
I get respect, exactly. So I'm saying you're doing the same thing, Joe. It's gonna be the same circumstance when you now telling the white man show respect.
In South Africa, you might end up punching someone, because if I'm trying to defend some racism and you come acting crazy, because I'm grateful that Tanzanian lady didn't talk back. She was quiet, the Danish. She was just there acting like the baby mama she is, how trapped she was. But you've been a South African, you already live in poverty, you're facing racism. I'm a brother who didn't come here to steal your jobs, of course, but I'm here to cure your country. Now you want to start talking crazy to me? Like,
just asking, okay.
I'll say like a black American lady say, go cry to your mama with Ashe. Like, don't try me. Go cry to your mama with that beard, because I don't think I'm a type of person to really back down on a lot like that.
That's supposed to.
But also, you gotta be careful, because what if they end up beating me? Because right now they are beating up other Africans. They are beating other Africans and killing them because of xenophobic effects. So I don't want to be there. But
the footages of black workers at white farms being abused that are starting to resurface on social media since the whole white genocide debacle. Well, if you haven't seen these videos, brace yourselves. The level of abuse our fellow brothers and sisters, our fellow African brothers and sisters endure on these white farms, all in the name of getting a minimum wage and putting food on the table.
Imagine, it's not even something profitable to go brag about. I work in a white farmer's house, or I'm a Negro house, I'm a field Negro.
Hey, that's a house Negro. But see, they're not getting paid, and the Europeans never want to pay them. They always want to have them work for free. They always want to exploit this joke. So I told you, it's always some exploitive type shit going on all the time.
And I feel like that is also something, again, the disrespect. This is, again, going
exactly.
back to Africans, when will you fight back? This is coming from the disrespect you've always continued.
Exactly, Joe.
Minimal wage, and then someone is treating you like shit, and you're still there begging for what? For what? And they even really willing, ready to kill you and assume, hey, I thought they were animals. Killing your children.
Because they've allowed this disrespect, Joe. Exactly. You can't allow this kind of open, blatant disrespect of your person.
Man, I don't know. I can't, man. I'm grateful I live in Kenya, being honest, and man, sometimes I really fathom. I try to think about these things, and I get really some type of burning. I'm like, if it's me feeling this way and I'm not really there, I'm not the really affected victim, but can you imagine the affected victims and they're not even reacting? They're this kind. I don't have time to be kind. I'll beat you. If I'm in prison, trust me. Either they're going to kill me or go in prison. But I'm not standing there with a white person talking crazy to me. And it's not even a 14, 15, 20-year-old white person. It's a 60s, 80-year-old white person talking crazy. That's the worst part.
And alleviating themselves from poverty is appalling, to say the least. The government has failed Black people of South Africa. Hello,
of course
African.
they failed them. Because the Black people don't control the government. They're puppets. They don't control nothing. They don't run nothing but their mouth. Nothing. Go ahead, Joe.
South Africa. In a country still wrestling with the ghost of apartheid, a disturbing pattern is emerging. While claims of a so-called white genocide have gained traction in certain corners of the internet, what's being ignored are the brutal realities facing Black farm workers, many of whom suffer in silence, underpaid, overworked, and in some cases abused on farms still controlled by a powerful white minority. Recently, resurfaced footages has revealed cases of Black South African workers being mistreated on white-owned farms. Stories that rarely make headlines yet speak volumes about the deep racial inequalities that persist in the agricultural sector. While a few Boers cry foul at government policies aimed at redress and land reform, framing them as persecution, Black communities continue to bear the weight of historical injustice without the privilege of global sympathy or spotlight. Check out these clips.
Is he nie serieus nie? Nou ek maak nie sy kan foto grap is ek nie serieus is nie. Ha? Het ek al vir julle gesê ek gaan julle skiet of ek gaan julle met die mes steek? Een man van julle. Ha?
This are all African men. All grown-ass men, okay?
These are your men, Joby. These are your men. So I told you, you're in South Africa, your country, and you allow people to talk to you like this. And you're the majority. You're not the minority. You're an overwhelming majority. So what's wrong with your men, Joby? Oh, they're dancing too much piano.
This is crazy. And this is how you understand power is taken, not given. You take
exactly.
But
exactly. Unapologetically.
I don't care how many of you will need to be killed, but you need to take back control of your country. This is insane that is happening in your own country. In your own country. And the sad part is
there was no Mau Mau's in South Africa. Where was the Mau Mau revolution there? Oh, it never happened.
The saddest part is that you're not even that old from just freedom. Just 30. You're counting 30. While other countries are 60 years ahead. South Africa. Man. I need to be Queen Zinga.
And understand, these Negro South Africans think that they're better than other Africans because their country got better developed, but they're still bootlicks and cowards. This is how their mind works. This is crazy. I said, how do you think you better than other Africans? Were you crazy? You don't own nothing in South Africa. Y'all employed by white people and treated like shit. Because your country got better developed? How? Because the Africans haven't had control of their own country, their own wealth. Once they get control of their wealth, they will develop their country. They develop yours because white people live there. That's the only thing happened with you. The idea that you think you're better than other black Africans is absolutely insane. But they do. This is how crazy the South African is.
Nog nooit nie. Nou wie is jy wat wil by mense kom staan en dreig hierso? Huh? Vertel my.
Imagine they're beating up an old lady. There's another one. This guy was put on a coffin alive.
Oh, they love to trim like that.
None of those people would have gotten justice if these videos were not available or uploaded.
No, they got any justice.
No
Because they're
justice.
weak. No justice when you're weak. I told you. Power does not respect weakness, guys. You get no Joby's quote is so apropos. Without power, there's no justice for your ass. You're supposed to have been learned that. Of all this oppression out there. Without no power, there's no justice. So you better unapologetically get power.
Exactly.
Then you can get justice.
Just like the quote says, legality. This is the legality of power, what it has made them do, because they have right now they control the system, they legalize.
Exactly. They got the power.
They have allowed injustice to be part of the system. So
exactly.
Legality is a matter of power, not justice. So this is about
exactly.
Legality. They control the narrative, they run the system. You bow down to it. As a black person, you have no say until you stand up and fight for yourself. This is just now the fact.
There you go.
Into this because this is
that's
real.
Right. What you just said, Joby, you're never to learn that. The Africans never taught this growing up. What you just said is never taught to you.
This is so real. I love the fact that nowadays I am feeding into informations and understanding how really deep this system is. And as deep as it is, I'm living in it. And as much as it's hard to do,
you know how it works.
I'm not part of this world. I'm just, there's a time
it
says,
you're not part of this world, you just live in it.
Yeah, but as much as I'm living in it, I can't really avoid the realities of, the current, the current reality.
The current situation.
So it's really deep and it's really very important for you to understand what information you're feeding yourself, It's just very, very important. And especially as a black person to understand how powerful this is for you and what power you really possess, because it is so much. This is literally all back to us as black people. It is so much power we possess, but the inferiority that we've been taught is super, super crazy. That black people don't believe in themselves anymore, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And see, you see that the system is globally, because you see black people get treated the same way no matter where you're at. See this? They're not asking those people, what tribe are you from? Maybe I can treat you better than the other black tribe. No! Say you're a dirty nigga. This is what you're going to get.
It's so insane. But let me continue.
Internet. With the coffin case, 27-year-old Victor Mlocha was forced into a coffin by Theo Jackson and Willem Oosthuizen. Now, he was just walking home and he decided to cut through the Jewish farmland. He didn't want to go all the way. He just wanted a shortcut.
Mind you, this is an African thing. As for us, as Africans, let's say if I go to the village and I don't want to go through a long path, I can trespass through my neighbor's actually,
Of course.
as I
But
say
but
hi,
yeah,
just
but,
greeting
but yeah, but yeah. White man don't want you cutting through his yard that he stole from you.
Now, the duo abducted him and did horrible things to him. The duo said they wanted to teach him a lesson. They meant no harm, but in the video, they can be heard speaking in Afrikaans, and I translate in English, and I quote, "We will
Afrikaans
douse
is
you
Dutch.
with petrol and set this coffin on fire with you in it." I don't know what kind of lesson he would take from this except for psychological.
But he allowed it. He never fought back. He's got all the weakness. The weakness. See, your weakness breeds contempt, black man. Your weakness, and they have power. They don't respect you. You haven't shown them respect. Because right then and there, you should have been willing to die. Told you. What will you die for? You think you're gonna allow me to disrespect me? I'm 27. I'm in my prime against these white people. You getting this work? You get. How dare you put me in a coffin? I'm 27 years old. As a black young man, there's no damn way. There's no way.
Imagine. And
Then I'm gonna be sitting there crying too. What? You make people in their mind. I want you to understand this, black people. You make them want to even harm you more because you're now showing them weakness. Now they want to harm you even more. That's their psychopathy. How they think. You should have been known that growing up with these people in South Africa. You should have been known that. Their psychopathy. Now you're making it more. They're like a raptor. They're like a wolf pack. Europeans like wolf pack. Uh, 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 um, they're gonna get more high off your fear. But go to the center where they might even just kill you because they get high off your fear. They get high off treating you poorly and bad. They're getting a rush out of it. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, that's their psychopathy. You mean tell me you haven't learned nothing for all these 30 or 40 years you've been dealing with these people in South Europe? Your parents, you ever learned any of this? You should have learned as much as the black American being with these no good bastards. You're supposed to know their mindset. I done be sitting at 27 crying in a car. I wish my son would tell me. Any one of my sons tell me some shit like this. But what? I said, you better come back and tell me, are they alive? Are they gone? Are they gone? Yeah, Dad. Damn right. What you talking about? Let's go get the lawyer now. What you talking about?
Let me go to the comments as we literally get to wind up with today's conversation. That is actually very embarrassing, even to continue sharing. You know,
Of course.
people on beach shooting, they are always ready to just say something.
Of course, they go exactly. Bitch, you know that. That's right. That's why we treat you in words and blah blah blah. And that's what you're supposed to get this work and blah blah blah.
It's crazy.
You won't get that. You won't see nobody. You won't see no black man in America
Africans
getting in no coffin with no white people.
Africans when from white people. That is just the question of the day. You know, think about it. If you bump into this video one time, one day, ask yourself that question, you know, and maybe pass this information to your fellow African brothers, you know. When are you gonna keep on taking spit and disrespect from Chinese weak people? We are eating noodles, cabbage.
They were still with the noodle eating.
You know, some boiled rice and some fried fish. You're an African person eating cassava, yams, and all that strong food, and then
you're big and strong. You're big and stronger than anybody on the planet, but you take abuse. Why? Your mindset's messed up, Joe. Your mind is messed up. Africans are the biggest, strongest people on the planet. These are already fact. Why you always take abuse? Because your mind is fucked up.
It is super, super sad. But shout out to John Mosquito, Sister Synovia once again. Baron Scott in the building. Jiba Jabba, I see you all. I see John Mosquito says it's either mental illness or the leaders deliberately are doing it. And I also see we have Sister Synovia says, John Mosquito says, great stuff. Okay. That's you guys' conversation. Shout out to Baron Scott says the European is basically dead man walking, and Synovia says, don't they know that they are Christian? their Christian asses will burn in hell for their evil ways. If the hell burns for them,
they don't believe that they gave it to black people. You think all the evil they done, if they believed in it, they wouldn't have been committing all these evil crimes against humanity. And they don't believe in none of that shit. They give it to black people. They ever stop them being wicked?
yeah, Dramas, I see you asking. I heard the government of Nigeria is trying to ban TikTok. True, I'm not really
Yeah.
sure
Yeah,
personally.
they are. Joby can look that up.
Okay. So
They try.
Zibadaba says, thank you for the compliment. I'm glowing as usual. I thank you. I appreciate, what they have going on. But yeah, fantastic. But I also see says Ibrahim is not doing any study, he just does it. Exactly. There's no
Just
time.
does it exactly.
And he also as that Nigerian town floating on sewer water is the one
Oh
that
man,
blows my mind. It's crazy. And children swim on that crazy.
that's worse than the better than me because it's dookie water. It's all dookie and filth. They swimming in there. Their houses full of, and you don't feel no shame as an African leader. You are a psychopath. How could you can't tell me you know who I am? Yeah, you don't want to allow this doo-doo water up in somebody's home and I'll smack you in the mouth talking about who I am. Are you out your mind? Look out my face.
Crazy. So never says the movie. I watched the movie Ants, An Ant's Life. It's all about how
Yeah,
they were colonized and they were.
it's the same thing. Your aunt, yeah, you mean a bug's life. I had Joby watching that one.
I was like, an ant's life, or she means a bug's life. I was like, a bug's life.
Yeah, a bug's life. It's the ants. Because the bug's life was about the ants. Yeah,
Like it's literally all about colonization and how this white
it is.
control and everything. Like, please, you might be skinny, but fight back. Those are the ants telling us, You might be skinny, you might not be having food, but fight back to get that food back, So Africans,
Yeah, like
that is
they got to, if they ever find out they outnumbered, our way of life is done. So we got to keep oppressing them. Yeah, I had Joey. I don't know if Joey watched the whole thing. I had Joey plug the Bugs Life.
I did.
Yeah.
I've not yet to watch the one you told me to watch last weekend. So I think this weekend I'm gonna watch it because I've been busy.
Oh, talking
So
about life.
yeah,
Life is just funny. That's a funny. Life is just funny.
yeah.
I,
I wanna eat my cornbread. Jiba Jaba says I think the same with coffee and cocoa. Process is it's all in the continent, not in
yeah,
Europe. That's bananas.
yeah, yeah. So it's like so imagine cocoa is in Africa, but all the chocolate companies that got their $1 billion are all in America and Europe. Coffee is in Africa, but all the coffee companies are in America and Europe. They make the money. Make it make sense.
It's crazy. I also see Jiba Jaba says $5 plus a bag of ugali and a jug of moonshine to wash it down. I know that's. I also see the cash. Oh, these actually it's a chain. It's a shell. It's a shell chain. I don't know how to describe it. Being honest,
Nice.
it was custom made for me by a friend. So yeah,
Oh
very
damn,
very.
it's nice.
If you need them, you can order them. He can ship them to you guys. Handmade, very beautiful, very affordable.
Oh, watch out. Got
Yeah.
all kind of people making a handmade shit. Wow.
Glowing and all. Joe Mosquito says, guys, watch out, Ibrahim Joby. Really? Come on. Okay, that's me. I also see Juba says Joby gonna be kicking crackers like Chuck Norris. For real. For real. Like, you got that right. Oh my god. For real. Trust me, I'll be putting my imagination, Chang Li, like Kung Fu moves, imaginary, and I'll be moving. That's what I'll be doing.
Kicking crackers like Chuck Norris. That's funny.
Or Van Damme, I'm gonna be, Chuck Norris, especially right now, he got some energy boosting, this product is always advertising or some shit. Or
Yeah, he's always talking because he's old. He's old. He old. And I love Jim Kelly said if Chuck Norris wasn't white, he would have never been in any action movies. Exactly. Kung Fu is garbage. Karate is garbage. Yeah.
First, a serial constrictor in the building, Karibu Sana. Jiba says, for pay, they'll give a piece of meat. For some, used poop stained clothes. Dang, that's bad. That's super, super crazy. Ja was going to say, the older white people tend to be most racist because they are always trying to go back to the good old days. You better you better accept your old crack and sit down. You know, it's like I saw a video. Man, TikTok will show you crazy videos. I even got mad. I'm like, man,
What video was that?
I don't want to ever on God for real.
What happened, Joby?
I never want to come into racism because I don't know how to literally act, being honest. I'm telling you guys, you know, I'm going to call you guys to donate for me because I don't know how to literally personally react. This girl was minding her business. You know, these Karens out, they always go crazy.
And one of those videos, you'll never be left alone because a white person will always be up in your business.
Yeah, this lady was in the gym. She was working out. Yeah. Then this Karen lady comes and she's, you know, like grabbing her clothes and trying to like beat her up. She's like, what's wrong? I want you to get out of that machine. You've been there for too long. I'm like, I'm working out. And that's the rule of the, you know, what do you mean I've been here for too long?
Yeah, exactly.
It became a whole thing. The Karen is going crazy. Man, I got mad. I'm like, how do you all handle these things every single day?
Do me a favor real quick, Joby. Do me a favor before we leave. Go to TikTok. This is Joby energy right here. Go to TikTok real quick and type this up. Type this up, Joby, real quick before we leave. Say on TikTok, say woman gets slapped on Catalina Island. C-A-T. I spell Catalina. C-A-T-A-L-I-N-E. Catalina A-N-A. Woman gets slapped on Catalina Island, which is off the coast of California. It's really California. And this is Joe. This is how you deal with racism, Joe. This is how you deal with it.
Because man, I go mad.
There you go.
Your guy is gonna be crazy. Like, let me share this.
There you go, Joe. This is how you spell it right there. There you go. Let's see. This is how you deal with it, Joe.
Catalina, let me see. Catalina, okay. I think I got it right.
That lady deserved to be slapped.
Yeah, there you go.
I do not condone any form of assault. However, in this scenario, she deserved to be slapped because why are you running up on me?
I want the real one, not this lady's commentary. She been another one just showed a video. What are they talking about? The fucking Catalina.
Okay, so Santa.
That's Joby right there. White ladies come up to you. White lady tell you, get off the street and slap your cup. Get off the street, like what? What are you talking about? They think they own everything. That's crazy. It's the fucking Catalina one.
Raise your hands if every time this.
This is crazy. This is just crazy.
That's what they do, Joe. It's crazy. But see, that's the response you're supposed to give in South Africa. That's a black woman in America. And that's Joby too. That's what you're supposed to do. This lady just came from nowhere. They mind their business, having fun in the street. White lady from nowhere. Get out the street. What? Then slap a cup out her hand like, what? Like woman smack the hell out of her ass. What's wrong with you? Get your ass out of here.
You're gonna play victim after beating your ass because that's what
they do. They do exactly, Joe. Yeah.
You start there. You know, you start the fight. You start the poking, and then when I react, you're the victim. You wanna call police on me? Are you crazy? Yeah. I'm gonna make you look crazy now. You're about to look crazy.
That's the proper response, Joby. You match their energy. You don't be like kind of, oh, what's wrong with the white woman? Why did she do this? Oh, ma'am, how did I offend you by being black? Because you offend them guys because you're black. They hate you because they hate us because we're black. That's the hate. That's the jealousy.
I am not nice personally. I'm just a good person. Don't play with me. I'm gonna beat you up, But I also see Joe was just saying the older white people tend to be. I think I did read that as I wind up very quickly. Joe was saying the South Africans on TikTok told the Nigerians they got the trains, but the Nigerians still riding donkeys. Wow.
Exactly. I told you, because their country has been more developed than Africa. Somehow they think that they don't own the train. They can barely ride the train themselves. But I told you, it's because they know Africa has been kept underdeveloped. Right? That's not the Africans' fault. That's on purpose that they kept Africa underdeveloped, steal it from Africa. But you think as an African, you would understand that and unify. You want to tell other, look at my country. You live in poverty.
Exactly. There's nothing bad like riding a good
I'm not
train.
going to say look at America. Most black people in America live in poverty. Look at America. So what?
Riding a good train and you're going back to Kibera. Thinking about
that. Exactly. You ride a good train and you're going right back to Kibera. And the slums in South Africa are worse than the Kiberas, Jack.
It's insane.
I've been to one as a guest. As a guest, and I cried. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy.
Somebody's asking, can black people own guns in South Africa? I'm not sure. I gotta check that.
I think all in Africa they're not allowed, but they have them. I think they're not. They're not. Remember, they want to in Africa. They want to make sure African people don't have guns except the terrorists that they fund. They make it hard for the actual citizens to have guns. But do the terrorists got them? Yeah. The fake terrorists that they created, they got them. But regular African, no, not so much.
I also see Jibajaba says the gun clubs in South Africa are predominantly white. It's difficult and expensive for black people to own guns. Of course, in majority of places, I also see Jibajaba says, I feel so ashamed eating macaroni this morning. Thanks, Joby. Oh, no. It's good. It's really, really good to be. I eat food every morning personally. I don't even be taking tea that much. It's only today I came and made actually tea in the office. I don't take tea most of the time.
Okay.
I eat food, like the leftover food from the previous night. Yeah, I don't eat.
Guess who's gaining some weight? Little bit of Joby.
Yeah. But I also see George Mosquito says, George, you've been listening to the vibe. Shout out to George. Guy, I had not seen your comment over there. I hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you.
He decided to take a trip back home to Jamaica. The Chinese been hitting him upside his head.
We say the future is all Jamaicans around the world, and that's what's up. But yeah,
we're not no damn lucky doobies. Get out of here.
Much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful you guys later, of course, on the reaction time, but come back on the radio.
Much love, family.
Up with Shmani and Iwaton and see what's counting. But please have yourselves a beautiful day.
Countdown with Iriton and Shimani.
In Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to
that show ain't gonna last long. I'm about to put them out in the streets. I mean, put Canvas and Iriton out in the street.